Right, Luke, what are you up to?
Well, of course, I'm playing The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. It's quite a beautiful game, isn't it? Looking at.
Yeah.
Or is it?
Show of the weekend, show of the weekend, show of the weekend, show of the weekend, show of the weekend.
Is it?
Is it?
Is it?
Is it?
You tell me. We're going to talk about the graphics in Tears of the Kingdom. There has been some discussion as to
Some discussion on the internet.
online, some discourse as to whether or not the graphics are good,
Yeah.
actually, or whether they are like as good as the game deserves, you could maybe say. It's not got the same grunt and heft, obviously, as like a sort of a PS5 or
Yeah.
whatever the new Xbox is called.
Series X.
That one. That sounded like a joke, but I genuinely cannot keep them straight, and I know I have to because I'm a professional
It's
and
fine.
a grown-up.
There was the one.
Series X.
It's 360. Right. There was the Xbox.
Yeah, I know that one.
The Xbox 360.
That was the best one.
The Xbox One.
Yeah.
Then the Xbox X.
Yes.
Then the Xbox Series X.
Yes, like I said, the Xbox
I believe.
Series SX.
I think. I can't remember.
SX
Maybe I'm adding the Xbox X. I used to work for Xbox. I don't know.
That's why she doesn't work for
I don't work
Xbox
for them
anymore.
anymore.
They were like, Ellen, we don't ask much, but you really should
You
learn
should
the name
know
of the
which one they
console."
are.
Back to Tears of the Kingdom. Like, just to sort of get ahead of it, obviously, we think Tears of the Kingdom looks great.
Yeah.
Right?
It's fine.
And I think probably almost everyone watching this video, or who has played Tears of the Kingdom, or has seen it, sort of thinks that it, looks pretty good. But I do think it's an interesting game to talk about, because it is, like, the biggest game of the year, and it is not the most
Powerful.
It's not the most graphics game of the year, is it?
Photorealistic.
No, not by a long
Not
shot.
by anything, yeah.
Yeah, but Ellen has a cool theory that I want her to share now with the viewers at home as to why Zelda's graphical limitations are actually better for the game, which I think is very cool. Go, Ellen.
Well, in one particular instance, I think they're pretty cool because like you do have things where you're kind of like running around and like things pop in, and that can be a bit annoying. But
Yeah.
overall, the limitations on the draw distance are really interesting because I think it's really brave of Nintendo to have made this huge game where you can go up in the sky and see for like miles in Hyrule terms, and you can sort of like see the draw distance isn't brilliant. So you can see like a shape.
Yes.
And you can't make out everything that's on it. You just see kind of like, okay, that's a blob over there. There's some like, you can sort of make out if there's a bokoblin encampment, you can see like there's a wooden pattern somewhere. So you're like, okay, that's an encampment. But you can't see everything. So there is this kind of like, I wonder what's actually there. And it's sort of, I see these things on the horizon or looking down from a sky island. And I'm like, what's that? I wonder what that is. And because like even though I'm zooming in or whatever, like I can't fully tell what it is, that's like, well, maybe I'll just go that way.
Go find out.
See what that is. The limitations from Zelda's graphics and like basically the capabilities of the Switch, because don't forget this is a very old console, they make up for it by clever gameplay, like game design features in the, the whole idea of Breath of the Wild as well, but in Tears of the Kingdom is they've designed this game so you kind of go out into the world and like you just see things on the horizon, Walt Disney would have called weenies, the things sticking up, like little landmarks sticking up and stuff like that.
Walt Disney's weenies.
It's weenies.
You're going to have to give more context for this, Ellen.
Because he was walking around and they had a little sausage dog that would like follow him if he had like a hot dog, and so they called them. So he wanted to see something that would make people go, ooh, what's that? And go over there.
Gotcha.
There you go. So like the Disney Castle and the Thunder Mountain
These
and
are
the
all
Matterhorn.
Walt's weenies.
They're Walt's weenies. I believe it's weenies.
I have a really nice example of that draw distance thing.
Yeah.
I think it's especially true of the Sky Islands.
Oh, 100%. Because they're so far apart as well.
Yeah, they're so far apart. And there's one you look at and it's just a circle in the sky. And the draw distance is such that like you can't even tell if it's a sphere or like a disc like hanging in the air. You just look at it and it's just a sort of grey shape.
Yeah.
It's not until you get quite close that it does sort of pop in and you see what it is. And what it is a sphere it looks a bit like kind of Death Star-like, with a sort of hole in one point, and it's a puzzle. You can kind of like get in and you can rotate the sphere so that hole sort of moves, which lets you get into...
It's a big old Rubik's Cube.
Yeah, it lets you get into like
basically.
different parts of the structure. If I'd have been able to see that from like across the map or from the ground, like it would not have had...
There's no mystery to it.
There-
It wouldn't have been
yeah.
there wouldn't have been the sense of discovery.
Yes, there would be a palpable depreciation in the sense of adventure. And in a game like Tears of the Kingdom, the sense of adventure is very important.
Mm-hmm.
There are things I don't like about Tears of the Kingdom's graphics. Like, as you say, there's like quite a lot of pop-in,
Yes.
which can be frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, the frame rate just...
Can chug especially if you're in a village or if you're in a big fight.
Yeah.
And it's
or
kind
if
of
it's
like,
raining.
Yeah.
or if like things are happening.
Yeah. I think like Zelda sort of gets away with some of like, especially the texture popping and things like that.
Yeah.
They get away with that slightly because of the art style that they've
Yes.
gone for.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
very kind of like...
Cell shade.
Yes.
It's I don't know if it is technically cell shaded.
It's not technically cell shaded, but it's that very cartoony,
Yeah.
very Ghibli-esque.
Which, as we've discussed before, does make the games age quite well.
Completely,
Also in that sort
completely.
of Wind Waker-y way that like it'll probably look...
Yeah, because well, there are
Probably look
some
good.
like photorealistic games that look amazing now, but maybe in 10 years we'd be like, wow, we thought
Yeah,
that was good.
we thought that
Whereas
looked like a
we,
photo,
you come back
looks like a
to
potato.
Zelda and you're like, it looks great. It's a video game.
But the thing that I particularly want to call out in terms of like the way that they squeeze a lot of beauty out of like what is a pretty weak console
Mm-hmm.
comparatively is the use of colour.
Yes.
And I think like ray tracing and its ilk can sort of get in the bin compared to like the sort of just beautiful colour wash that they sort of give this whole game. Especially like when you're up in the Sky Islands and the air is like so clear. There's sort of no murk or no atmosphere. And it's just amazing to me that through the use of colour they have conveyed that up here the air is clearer because you're sort of above the clouds and above the atmosphere. And when the sun is like coming up or going down there and everything is just sort of like such a brilliant particular red or orange. And
they do golden hour very well.
they do the golden hour so well. And it just looks like the whole thing has just had a load of really lovely Photoshop gradient layer styles sort of applied to it. And it's very, very watercolory. Right? You said Ghibli-esque. You know, like that's kind of like, it just, the colours always feel so intentionally chosen.
Yes.
Like, I think you could show me 10 different sort of colour palettes.
Yeah.
And I'd be able to identify the one that was the Breath of the Wild colour
Yeah.
palette because it's just so,
Yeah.
you know, so distinctive. And that, it papers over a lot of the gaps. You know, it makes up for a lot. And there is a lot to make up for
Yeah.
because, like, we're still on the original Switch internals, like hardware. And what was that, 2017?
Yeah.
You know, a long in the tooth console at this point. I think they've done, frankly, staggering. I mean, I thought that Breath of the Wild was a staggering graphical achievement.
Considering even at the time, yeah.
Even at the time. And you were like, wow, how did they get something that looks so good out of this little portable 720p sort of joke box? That's harsh, but sort of, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And like for Tears of the Kingdom to just, you know, you can kind of feel the Switch just like sweating to sort of keep pace, and it's like, okay. I think if we do this, I think if we despawn a load of things that you need every time you look away from them, we can probably just about make all of these things kind of exist in the same game space, just about. So it kind of feels like it's hanging together a bit, sort of held together with like glue and spit, but it does hang together. I think the real issue is that there hasn't been a new Switch. There hasn't been a Switch Pro. And the theory goes, you know, stuff that I've read speculates that this is down to the sort of chip shortage.
Yeah.
Pandemic-induced chip shortage. I wish that there had been a Switch Pro, like, to come out at the same time as Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
And if they do make a Switch Pro,
Maybe an update.
I will play Tears of the Kingdom on it again, because while I will go to bat for Tears of the Kingdom's visual style, and I think it is one of the most beautiful games I've ever played, man, what I wouldn't give to see this game running on like a more powerful console.
Yeah,
Just
like
to
your
sort of,
Steam Deck.
like my Steam Deck, get the frame rate up, get the resolution up. You know, there's
Just a little bit crisper.
yeah, I cannot wait for the HD remaster
Yeah.
of Tears of the Kingdom in like 3 years' time or something when they finally get Switch.
Oh, that's
Pro out.
100% going to happen. Even with the whole new area of the depths, with the gloom and everything.
Yeah.
Like, they've got all these like amazing, weird textured things in the dark. And I think that's also, they're probably really relieved. We're like, hey, we're going to bring up like a whole new area. And all the people who work on the Switch were like, huh? And they were like, it's mostly dark.
It's so dark.
It's so dark for the majority of it.
It's so
fine.
dark on purpose that literally nothing can be rendered.
Yeah.
And they're like, brilliant,
Good,
love it,
good.
brilliant.
But then
and then they're like, oh, but you can light it up. Oh, for...
It's really cool and impressive going down there, like whether you eat something and make yourself glow as you run around, or whether you're like lobbing or shooting the bright seeds around, and like it's amazing just like gradually opening this world up. And like you're just like as you do it each one, you're like, oh, Switch is having to do more this time. Good luck, Switch.
You can do it, buddy.
You can do it.
It's not an example of like brilliant cutting edge video game graphics, but it is a good example of just like making the best use, like playing the cards you have.
Yeah.
You know, like with the Switch, this game is playing the cards that it has.
I'm just impressed by the
well.
logistics
Unless-
of everything. Like they would have had to be like, okay, can we do this? Can we do this?
Yeah.
And just
When I've been playing Tears of the Kingdom, I've been thinking a lot about Pokemon and about Scarlet and Violet, because when those games came out last year, they look really ropey. This is making me a little worried about Tears of the Kingdom.
And then it came out and we were like, oh,
okay,
we're fine.
Yeah. So
They know what they're doing.
there is no reason why Pokemon can't look like
Game
this.
Freak just needs to be given some more time, more money.
Yeah.
Like Pokemon needs to be like, let's invest in this.
Yeah. It's time to give them a year or two off, folks.
Yeah.
To make the Pokemon game that, you know, we deserve. New engine, all the Pokemon. I want to finally just see them punch each other. Boosh, like that, you know?
And then you want to see the Mr. Mime go, and then like,
and then his arms shatter.
or any like,
And his face
hits
distorts
the
in
side
pain.
of an invisible box and bams back.
That would be good, yeah. He falls down some invisible stairs, painfully ragdolling. So on the one hand, there are like things that, or like when I'm climbing a cliff face in Tears of the Kingdom and there's nothing to do but stare at that cliff and you're like, this cliff is pretty low texture.
Yeah.
This is a pretty ropey texture now that I'm really up close
Really
to
close.
it. So there is that. There is the frame rate. But then you look at like the Pokemon games and you're like, my God, they are literal wizards.
How did they do this
How
on
have
this
they?
machine?
How have they done this? I wish they didn't have to do it on this machine, but bearing in mind they do have to.
They've done an outstanding job.
What a performance! It feels nourishing to me to like be in that world. It feels like it's one of those games that's like, you know, you're not getting fresh air.
Yeah.
You know, you're not actually touching any grass, but it sort of feels.
But you feel like you're out and about.
Yeah.
And then you get to the
Yeah.
end of the day and you're like, oh no, that was a cartoon video game world.
Oh no.
And I've been indoors all day.
Yeah.
I'm still in my pajamas from this morning.
Big win. That was us talking about Tears of the Kingdom graphics.
Yeah.
Hope that was okay.
Yeah.
It is the first time in ages that, maybe not since Animal Crossing, that it's been one of those games where I'm playing it and just constantly in the corner, all of my friends and associates will just sort of every few minutes, someone will be like, bloop, just started playing Tears of the Kingdom. Bloop, just started playing Tears of the Kingdom.
Everyone's playing it.
Yeah,
Well,
and
obviously not everyone, but
yeah,
lots.
Enough people are playing it that you get that sort of common. That hasn't happened for me since Animal Crossing, but probably maybe I just need more friends.
But it is that vibe. Animal Crossing is that like cozy vibe, and Zelda has that cozy vibe, but you're also hitting things with swords.
So it's better.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening to us talk about the graphics in Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
if you liked this,
Yes.
then
Good. Thanks.
Well, then,
Cheers.
good. Yeah, good.
Good for you.
Good for you. Bye.
Give us a thumbs up.